Hey, welcome to the next video in French cooking with Chef Brett Heath. Don't scroll past or you'll miss a great recipe. What we have for you today is we're going to be doing a baked chicken with a French style spinach with a brown garlic butter sauce. And I'm really excited to share that with you today. And the reason I want to do the chicken is a lot of people have asked me when I do these styles of chicken, what do you season it with? How is it so good? What is the recipe? Well, I'm somebody that wants to give the people what they want.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
So that's what we're gonna do. All right, the first part of this recipe is seasoning. And with a recipe like this, well, really any type of meat or anything that you season, that is the first big step. And this recipe is so simple, it's so easy, but it is delicious. And the first thing you want to do is you want to use some kosher seasoning salt, and you want to just go ahead and just kind of move your wrist a little bit and get it kind of coated. You don't want to overdo it, but just enough to get some coating on there on one side. Then the next, we want to use a little bit of pepper. Like I said, you want to go ahead and put a lot of pepper on there because when we get to the searing proportion of it, it will knock off some of it when it gets into the pan. So make sure you have lots of pepper on there. And then once that's done, the next one is our garlic. And this is garlic powder. And give lots of that too, because the best thing you can do, I mean, even with garlic can make a filet mignon or just a piece of meat taste like filet mignon. Then we'll turn it over and we will repeat the process. And then once you're done, you can just kind of scoot it over the cutting board a little bit. That way you try to get all of that seasoning. And the next part will be searing. All right, and the next part of this recipe, we're gonna do something that's called searing. And if you're not familiar, you may say, what is searing? Huh? Searing is basically where you get color on the side of the meat. And it's also that kind of crisp up the skin a little bit. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and throw in about 2 tablespoons of butter. And we'll just kind of let that move around a little bit. And once it melts, then we'll go ahead and throw in the chicken. Now you go ahead and pick up your chicken and you make sure you put it down that side because you don't want it to pop you. Then you go ahead and put it in there, mix it around a little bit. Make sure that butter gets all up in that chicken. And we're just going to go ahead and take a little bit of garlic and we're just going to kind of throw it on the sides there where the chicken is, so we can make sure we get seasoning absolutely everywhere. And it may make a little mess in your pan, but that is okay. And when you are searing, you can go ahead and sear it on the side too. That way your sides get that crisp on them as well. But right now we're just going to go ahead and wait for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll flip on the other side and you'll be able to see the finished product and what it looks like once it's been seared. Alright, and when you're about to flip, one thing you can also do is what's called basting. And basically when you have a sauce or you have liquid, you take it and you just kind of pour it on your meat because it gives it that extra flavor. And I've already had to put a couple in there. You can always add a little more butter, and you can also use olive oil for searing and even add a little butter, but I just did butter today because it really adds some flavor. And then this will be kind of along the lines of what you're looking for. If you see it's got that crispiness on it from the seasoning, it's got a nice color on it, that's what you're looking for. We'll flip it and then we'll wait for the other side to crisp up. And again, you might have to add a little bit of extra seasoning on it because when you do baste, especially for thicker pieces of meat, what happens is sometimes that seasoning will fall off and get into the pan and it makes a big mess, so you have to add a little bit of extra. So once we get done with this side, we can go ahead and baste it a little bit more because that butter adds all that flavor. Just kind of pour it on there. And then again, once it starts searing on one side, go ahead and put it on your side like this. So that way the sides of the chicken, you can see where it's pink, kind of get a good sear on them as well. We're just going to let this other side cook, and then we'll go ahead and throw it in the oven, and when it's almost done, we'll start on the spinach. All right, it looks like these pieces of chicken are almost done. You see there, you got that color again on this one. And if that seasoning seems like it's a little bit burnt, that's okay because it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. But when you do basting, you do searing and things of that nature, depending on the thickness of your chicken, so you'll want to do about medium to high heat. And then we're going to go ahead and throw this in the oven and move right along. All right, and this is about what you want it to look like before you put it in the oven. And for thicker pieces of chicken, you probably want to put it about 400 to 450 degrees. So I'll go ahead and pop that in the oven. I'm going to wash a few dishes, and then once it's almost done, we'll knock out the spinach. Alrighty, I just checked the chicken and it's almost done, so now it's time to start on our spinach. And you may be watching this video and asking, what is with the female apron here? Well, let me explain to you. I am advertising our merch, our female line, because I don't have a female model. I can't afford one yet. So until then, this is what we have. So don't forget to go to thefourthwall.com and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. You just click explore the collection. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to have about a tablespoon of butter in a nice hot pan. Put it on about, 2 to 3, give or take. Going to let that kind of melt and move around a little bit. Actually going to turn it down just a notch. We're going to go ahead and throw one more tablespoon in there.
Butter.
Because to start with, there's going to be a lot of spinach in there, but it will begin to wilt and go down when we're done with it. Now, once you've got the butter in there and it's on kind of the medium to low heat, what you're looking for is the butter's going to turn kind of a brown color. And you say, well, why does it need to be a brown color? Because it's going to give that butter kind of a nutty taste. And it's a brown butter garlic sauce that goes in and on the spinach. So again, we'll just kind of let that begin to melt and move around. And as soon as it gets kind of that brown color, we'll give you a show.
Yeah, boy.
We'll show you how it looks. Now it's kind of a little bit harder to see with all the bubbles, but if you get kind of a good look in there, it's starting to turn kind of that brown color. That's what you want. Now we're going to go ahead and put it back on the stove. And the next thing we're going to add is about 3 to 4 garlic gems. They can just be kind of a rough dice. Go ahead and put those in there. We're going to give them a stir and mix them in with that butter. And just give them about, maybe 30, 45 seconds to a minute to cook, just so they kind of soften up a little bit and they really get in there with that butter. And make sure you continue to stir it because you don't want your butter to burn. You want it to have that brown color, but you don't want it to burn. And what you can also do to keep that from happening, you can do a lot of times this with eggs as well. It's called heat balance, where you take it off and you keep it stirred and then you can put it back on there a little bit. All right, now that we've got what we're looking for, go ahead and put in our spinach. Now you go ahead and stir it all up in here. And it may look like a whole lot of spinach, but when it gets done, it's really not going to be because it's going to dwindle, or excuse me, it's going to, I don't want to say whittle. What is the word I'm looking for? Wilt. Thank you, sir. All right, just make sure it gets all of that mixture up in there and all of it on that spinach. Because this is how they serve it in France. Most people will just do like a little salt and pepper and then they'll throw in some vinegar. But this is how they serve it in France, and it's really good side dish for chicken, and it's kind of a healthier side dish for whatever you need, or if you're kind of on a budget, you're on a diet, it will work great. Okay, and once it begins to wilt a little bit, for about each set of spinach, you want to throw in about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. You put that in there and you continue to stir it until it's done. And once this set of spinach is done, we're going to make one more and then we'll move right along to plating. When you plate this recipe, or really any recipe, I always like using white because it kind of makes the others or the other colors kind of pop a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we're going to take that spinach, get all that garlic and everything out of there. And we're just going to kind of put it right there in the center. All right. Take our piece of chicken and we just kind of place it just barely on top, a little bit to the side where you can kind of see the spinach. And then the most important part, boom, we're ready to eat. Well, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share. And don't forget to check out fourthwall.com because we have our merch. And remember, the most important ingredients when it comes to cooking is love and passion. God bless. Have a great day. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the next video of the Chef Brett Heath